Patients succumb immediately to infection in the region where the malady enters the body. Violent convulsions follow, and their veins turn black as ink. Poisoned blood radiates from the wound, spreading like the roots of a venomous tree, accelerated by unnatural haste. It would be beautiful, if not for its dark design.
That you can definitely use, especially in this bloody place. Nice and quiet.
In some subjects, pockets filled with a rich, acrid pus form near hot, inflamed areas around the groin, armpits, and jaw. I have extracted this liquid for further investigation. The patient must be restrained and cannot be calmed by any manner of herbal sedative. She seems ravenous, and nothing I feed her can satiate her monstrous appetite, as if compelled by a most foul instinct to devour all life within her reach. She freed herself of her bonds yesterday and would have gutted our horse alive if I had not reached her in time. I find myself in awe of the piteous state to which man is reduced. A walking conduit, a mere empty coil, which lives only to feed its greedy and carnal instincts.
Where was I? You must forgive me, I'm a little distracted. Ah yes, Dr. D. John Dee was a scientist, alchemist, natural philosopher and all that, to Elizabeth I. Some people say he was even a spy. Imagine that. And Dee wrote a warning, you see, about this outbreak. Oh, dear. Sorry, mustache.
Following the recommendations of De Remedi Secreti, I reduced the pus to a dry powder and discovered that injecting the concoction into the subject, God forgive me that I refer to my own wife as subject, causes the black blood to retract and wither. I glimpsed the flush of my wife's once rosy complexion through the sickness. But alas, she then succumbed to one final fit, and at last, with blessed mercy, ceased moving forever. May God have mercy upon her soul, and allow it now to rest. I remain convinced this volume offers practical methods for obtaining a solution. Perhaps even the key to save us all.
Hello. Oh, I see you found Gesner's book. I do hope it wasn't too much trouble. Pass it through, would you? Ah, wait. There's something else. That gadget of yours looks rather like something the Omega chaps used to carry. Will you step over there and scan that infected chap with it? A full scan and analyze, mind you, to isolate the infected gland. I thought so. You'll have to put him out of his misery first. Then take the syringe and fill it up with antibodies from the infected gland. Perfect. Now, that syringe will synthesize a viricide, a sort of poison, quite deadly. There's enough for one injection, but you can refill it from another willing volunteer. In return, I need another favor. A second book, Studium Contagione. A study of infection by D himself. It's very rare. But I happen to know Ron Friedman has a copy in his flat on Brick Lane. Ron's one of those Raven chaps, you see.
This is where it all started, and this is where it'll end. I promise you. Protect the safe house. Your survival depends on it. Now where are you going? Are you scavenging for supplies or what? The pickings round here won't be very rich. These poor buggers have to fend for themselves. Abandoned by the government, the so-called public servants, who all hot-footed it to Westminster and the palace instead. That lot of good it did them, eh? You hear that? That's exactly why this country's gone to shite. People partying when they should have been prepping. Honestly, I'm surprised anyone else survived. Okay, maybe not everyone knows about Dee's prophecies, but to be so blind when Armageddon is in your face, I despair. You need to find some way into the room. Looks like you can jump down through a hole in the ceiling. Now we're talking. Double the barrels for double the gun. Bloody hell, I've just realised where you are. That's Ron Friedman's place. All you'll find in there is a soft-headed imbecile who turned the Ravens away from the truth. If you're going in, be careful. Ron Friedman is a lying sack of shite. Don't believe a word he said. He'll send you off on some wild goose chase. Damn it. Ron's flat's on the next floor up. You have to find an air duct and crawl your way upstairs. Prepper here. Your signal's fading. I'm losing you.
This is Sandra to all surviving Ravens. Nest 6, 18, 19, 22 and 34 have been raided by vultures. Situation still evolving. Ron, come in. It's Sandra. Ron, we're pulling out in less than 12 hours. Ronald Friedman, if you're ignoring me, I swear. Answer me, for God's sake, Ron!
Prepper here, you read me? Looks like it's heating up in there. Find the kitchen and use the rubbish chute. It's your quickest way out.
Dear John, I'll never forget everything you've given me. Our time together was the happiest of my life. But now those memories are tarnished, and I want it to stop. We both know that you don't belong in the trauma unit, but the injustice of it all has changed you. You're not the man I fell in love with anymore. The man who risked and lost everything to try and prepare the world for the coming storm. That man seems to be dead. Looking back, your letters become more and more bitter over time, filled with cynicism and contempt. God knows I can't blame you after everything that's happened. But I don't want to know this new man. I don't think we have anything constructive to say to one another. If I do somehow survive the blight, just do. It'll be thanks to you. I owe that to the man I loved. He'll remain a part of me forever. Forgive me.
You found D's Studium Contagione. Oh, this will be invaluable. If only I had been quick enough to save them. I tried, I did. And I made progress. But what survives, well, one can't call it life. I'm almost glad my Omega Group colleagues never lived to see the day. Oh, my. This is Dee's last letter to Francis Bacon. Dear Francis, and so on and so forth. Yes, he mentions the Panacea Code. Now, the Ravens believe they possess this code, and they must still be in London somewhere. I don't know how, but if you can track them down and retrieve this code, it could unlock a cure. Meanwhile, I'm a soldier on. I swore an oath to my queen and my vocation to shed light upon the dark corners of ignorance, and so I must. See yourself out.
At the end of the day, who lives and who dies comes down to one thing: preparation. Research your surroundings, scavenge for supplies, stock up your safe house, and do whatever it takes. There you are. What were you doing back in the palace? Look, never mind. I've had an idea. There are reports of a military camp at the palace. The guy in charge is Colonel Waverley, my old CO in Desert Storm. So tell him the Prepper sent you. He'll see you right. You could do with some better weapons, and a bit of C4 wouldn't go amiss.
This is the Ravens of D calling all survivors. Evacuation will commence when the tower bells ring. I repeat, green light for Tower of London evac.
Sandra bloody Kelly. Thought she was dead. But pay her no mind. The Ravens couldn't plan an orgy in a brothel. In fact, my ass, more likely they'll shoot you and rip your bob from your dead hands. Keep an eye out for the Colonel. He'll have a key card for the mobile armory. Shit, I'll tell you. The army these days is a bloody holiday camp compared to my day. You're in there now, might as well grab some guns. Bloody shame. Waverley was one of the good ones, you know. He had my back all the way through Kuwait and beyond. An honourable man. Now grab whatever you can carry and stash it back at the safe house.
Sorry for hacking your comms like this, but the Ravens of D are planning an evacuation from the Tower of London, and we need all the fighters we can get. Help us, and we'll get you out.
Don't just stand there, move! You're a sitting duck!
You're almost out. Keep going.
So you're running away with the birds. Well, let me tell you about the Ravens of D. D's prophecy is clear, but those bloody cowards want to cherry-pick it. They admit D was right about the Blight coming, but think he was wrong about who would survive. There is no saving the world. No evacuation, no cure, no respite. Only the prepared will survive. Isn't that what I've been teaching you?
This is Sandra from the Ravens of...
I can tell you're not listening. Fine. But if that's a 770, that. I used to shoot naps up the arse with one of those.
Time to break out some C4. Poor birds. Did you know Charles II clipped the Tower Raven's wings after the Great Plague? It's the closest he came to admitting he believes the Black Prophecy. Well, that and forming our little organization, just in case. We lost so much knowledge when Dee's library at Mortlake was pillaged. We've collected what remains, but none of us has Dee's minds to make sense of it all. It will work like a black light now. Look for the signs. That's Dee's septagram. It symbolizes the unity of the four elements with alchemy, magic, and science. To us, don't bother with your map. Officially, this place doesn't even exist. Just use the black light to find your way through. Nice work. Look for the signs. They'll lead you to our bunker. Okay, break out the black light again. See if you can crack this one. Welcome to the Ravens' D Nerve Center, such as it is. The blight has been worse than even we thought, and we were expecting it. I can't imagine how ordinary people like you coped. Mind you, we tried to warn people. Our best prepper risked his life trying to get to the Queen, but they wouldn't listen. They locked my John up, and he was never the same. You're almost there. Now try the keypads. That's the Enochian alphabet. Symbols that D used to communicate with angels. The Ravens translated them years ago. Now you can reveal and understand them too. You're almost there. Now try the keypads. That's the 7 bells. Time to move. Head for the roof. Sorry, that's all I can help with. I need to clear the other ramparts.
This is Raven Wing 1. No safe landing. I repeat, we cannot land. We'll try and pick you up on the roof. Stand by.
Take the stairs. Hurry! Put those blighters out of their misery. Kill them! Hurry! Keep moving! We've got to get out of here! Move! Clear the roof! There it is! Clear this place out! Hurry! I'll cover for you. You've got to dance around those blighters. You can do this. Come on, no dying on my watch.
Mayday! Mayday! We're going down! Fucking birds!
Oh God, no! Shit! Shit, shit, shit! But we can still get out. We need a Coast Guard chopper or something. We are not giving up. I swear I'll figure something out and contact you again, okay? I swear on the seal of God.
I heard the chatter. I know you're green as grass, but try and remember to aim before you shoot. Look, I know you won't believe this, but I hate to say I told you so. I understand. You want to get out, to run away and never look back, but it's not that simple. Look on the bright side. You're still here, a survivor, and I'm not going anywhere, no matter how bad it gets. But make no mistake, it will get worse. Dee said the blight will only end when a cleansing fire of black angels sweeps over the world. We all used to think he meant the ravens of Dee, bloody idiots that we were. But no, he means something much worse. Oh, shite, you need to refuel that generator. I think it's time you went to see Vikram. Vikram runs the Shoreditch petrol station at the top of Brick Lane. Him and his family live in the flat above. You can't miss it. He's shut himself in there and been trading fuel to survivors. You might have to breach his perimeter, but once you're through, just tell him the prepper sent you.